In episode 1 of the Lighthouse Challenge, I was thwarted by the power of the dark side.
Alright, it's time for Dark Lords to go to bed.
She doesn't know the power of the dark side.
What? You don't know the power of my dark side. Bedtime!
Well, I have no idea what that intro has to do with Lighthouse Challenges, but what I do know is that there is absolutely no respect for Dark Lords in this household. But yeah, day 1 here in Florida on the Lighthouse Challenge was an absolute failure. Hopefully Jim's doing a little better with his first day of the Lighthouse Challenge up in beautiful, sunny Michigan.
Well, it looks like day 1 is a bust. So Michelle and I got up early. So she actually, I had to rewrite all the numbers on the alarm clock because she erases those early numbers off of it. So we're not ever up this early. But it looks like I've got no dramatic clouds, no bursts of sun coming through or anything. It's now 7:10, we're past the sunrise, and I officially declare day 1 in Port Huron, Michigan at the Fort Gratiot Lighthouse a bust.
Well, I guess Jim didn't get off to that good of a start either, so in the immortal words of Dave from Let's Click Photography so eloquently put in our Sunrise Challenge, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Let's do this. Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the Hillsboro Inlet Lighthouse. I'm doing a challenge with Mr. James Fisher of Vintage Illumination Photography from Michigan, and this is my 3rd attempt to get this right. Now, my first attempt down here, it was during Tropical Storm Sally, just as it was hitting the coastline about 40 miles south of here. We were having about 35, 45 mile an hour sustained winds with gusts up to about 50. This is what it looks like when you try to film during a tropical storm. And this is what it sounds like when you try to film during a tropical storm. Instead of getting a beautiful sunrise, try to get some kind of epic stormy weather photography of this lighthouse as this tropical depression comes ashore. And unfortunately, this is what happens when you try to film during a tropical storm. Yep, you guessed it, the death of my Sony ZV-1. I had it on a carbon fiber tripod, which is very light, in about 45 mile an hour winds, sitting on a jetty. I turned my back for just a second and boom, straight on the lens, bent it. It was just a mess. Sent it back to Sony. Obviously it wasn't under warranty because it was my fault. It was going to cost more than half of what the camera actually cost. And luckily I had the most amazing wife in the whole world. She wasn't upset, or didn't appear to be upset anyway. She made me get online later that day and order another one. And incidentally, this happens to be our 17th wedding anniversary today, so I snuck out of the house. I'm gonna try to get this done and get back before she even knows that I left. So anyway, back to the story of the challenge. I was contacted by Mr. James Fisher from Vintage Illumination Photography up in Michigan about possibly doing a collaboration between our channels and doing a challenge. And what we kind of came up with is that we both have historic lighthouses. And sorry, I got boats coming behind me. We both have historic lighthouses close to where we live, and we thought we both live on the east coast of our states, Michigan and Florida, and thought it'd be just natural to do a sunrise challenge with the lighthouse being our backdrop. And while it sounded like a fantastic idea, and it still is, I've had a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite views in all of Florida. I've run into nothing but problems. The first one was the aforementioned Tropical Storm Sally. Again, lost my Sony ZV-1 during that. We got another Sony ZV-1, tried to come down here on another beautiful morning, very similar to this, and I apparently had damaged the Rode microphone from that fall. So when I got home and reviewed all the footage from that second trip down here, all the audio was just, it was just unusable. The video looked great from the new Sony, but the audio from the Rode microphone was just terrible, not usable at all. And this third trip has gone amazingly well so far. It's a beautiful morning out this morning, very little wind in the air. The ocean looks like a lake. It's so flat. It's absolutely beautiful. But as I was trying to take some long exposures, I dropped my Sony A7RIII straight into the sand. Anyway, I think I got it all cleaned up, and I'm taking some more photos off here to the side. The one positive thing that's happened from the first 2 trips down here, though, is that I did get some fantastic images, both of the morning during the tropical storm. Those came out really well, surprisingly. And then on the second morning, got some just amazing we had an amazing sunrise that morning. Just got some beautiful sunrise photos with some big clouds in the back, and yeah, I think you're going to enjoy those when I put those up on the screen today. So a little bit about the history of the lighthouses that we're photographing, and I'm not sure if Jim's going to give you any of the history, but I learned myself the other day that the Fort Gratiot Lighthouse, where he lives, is almost 200 years old and is the oldest existing light in the state of Michigan. And now my lighthouse here, the Hillsboro Inlet Lighthouse, is not nearly that old. It was erected in 1908, and probably for this part of South Florida, it's one of the older structures, because this part of South Florida wasn't really developed until after that. My city of Boca Raton really didn't become a city until 1924, so this was a good 15 years before that. Now, the interesting thing about my lighthouse is that since it's been built, it's always been considered one of the brightest lights in the world. They say you can see the beam from anywhere between 28 to 35 miles away. It's been changed out many, many times over the years, but it still remains one of the brightest lighthouse lights anywhere in the world today. So like I said, this is my 3rd trip down here to try to get this challenge done. The photos you're going to see, most of them are going to be from visits 1 and 2. I took a few this morning, and I'll put those up on the screen as well. But this was more about vlogging this morning, since the footage that I had from those first 2 trips were totally unusable. Now, if I'm honest, I have really dreaded making this 3rd trip down here to the lighthouse today. It's about a half a mile from where I parked the car. The sand is just ultra soft. It's just terrible to walk in. And if you walk down by the water, sometimes, you know, on a normal beach, it might be kind of hard and compacted and easier to walk on. Here it's like walking in mud. But once you do make it down here, it is totally worth it. Like I said, it's one of my favorite views in all of Florida, and personally I think one of the best lighthouse views anywhere that I've seen in the world. But yeah, I really want to thank Jim for contacting me about this collaboration, this challenge. Despite all the problems, it really has been a lot of fun. And I hope you've enjoyed the sights and the sounds and the photos here at the end of the Hillsboro Inlet Lighthouse. Just absolutely glorious, especially this morning. It's fantastic. And if you haven't seen Jim's video yet, I want you to go head on over to his channel at Vintage Illumination Photography. I'm going to put the link to his channel down in the description below. Go check out what he does. I believe he's doing a 2-parter. I'm only going to have enough to do 1 part. So go check him out. If you don't follow him already, give him a follow. He's a fantastic photographer. He claims to be a portrait photographer, but I think he's kind of underestimating himself. I'm pretty sure that I have my hands full with this challenge. And I am done for the day. I am going to turn victory over to Jim on this challenge. There's people everywhere. I'm not vlogging very well. I'm more worried about what's going on around me. I've had 2 people actually stop me right in the middle and ask me what I'm doing. So beach walkers are the most annoying people in the world. Just as I was finishing that last little clip, oh hey, what are you doing? Are you a reporter? No. Does it look like I'm a reporter? Anyway, I want to thank you for tuning in to this week's challenge with Jim from Vintage Illumination Photography. Thank you again, Jim. I really appreciate this. This has been a lot of fun. If you're new to my channel and you're visiting for the first time, I hope you enjoyed what you saw. I hope you enjoyed the photos. If you're not subscribed, you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on any adventures, good or bad. And thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Hope to see you again here next week. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Have a great week and stay safe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
never knew was said. Well, now he's leaving me, and the peace I had was you. Veils and darkness covered my eyes. All those times I thought I was blind. Said I'll feel the things in life, oh, more precious than you. I'm awoken and I finally see the light. And all I ever thought or knew is torn from me without you. I just hope you know I'm lost out here and dying.
What an absolutely glorious morning. The sand has compacted. It's like walking on cement, and it's going to make this walk back to the car just all the more enjoyable on this beautiful morning. Oh yeah, one last little fun fact about the Hillsboro Inlet Lighthouse. Back in 1908, when the lighthouse was built, the Everglades, they start about 18 miles west of here, would mysteriously start catching on fire. They couldn't figure out why. Turns out that as the sun would come up, it would magnify through that lighthouse light and beam a hot ray of light all the way out to the Everglades, like I said, about 18 miles west of here, and catch it on fire. I guess kind of the same way if you put like a light through a magnifying glass, it'll eventually catch something on fire. The more you know.
Oh, precious to you. I'm awoken and I finally see the light. All I ever thought or knew is torn from me without you. I just hope you know I'm lost out here and dying. There are fewer things in life, oh, more precious than you. I'm awoken and I finally see the light. All I ever thought or knew is torn from me without you. I just hope you know I'm